You are listening to the Champion Hustle Podcast. Play to succeed in business and in life. Featuring Levi Hunsaker and Ryan Black.
Hello there and welcome to the Champion Hustle Podcast. This is episode number 46. My name is Ryan Black.
And my name is Levi Hunsaker. Ryan.
Good morning,
things
Levi.
Look different today.
Yes. Yeah. All of a sudden, why in our new format do we have 3 boxes instead of 2 boxes? Something is different. I think it's because we have a very, very special person with us today as our invited guest. And as you guys know, over the last month or so, we've been talking about this incredible Make Profits Again Summit that's coming up to be able to help us to all increase sales, increase efficiencies, and just scale things up to the next level in our businesses. And today, we have brought the mastermind behind that summit to share nuggets of golden wisdom with us all. Now, this is someone who Levi and I have known and worked with for many years. We love him dearly, and he is someone who is a very, very experienced entrepreneur, business owner, has decades of experience in different spaces. And he also happens to be a real estate investor too, and has companies who have done thousands of real estate transactions. And we are honored to be joined by him today, Bob SNYDER. Bob, we are grateful to have you on with us. Thanks for joining us.
I'm thrilled to be with you, Ryan. I've looked forward to this. I mean, to think that I could be amongst the very, selected few who grace the stage of your podcast is an honor.
Well, we're happy to have you here. And, there are so many different topics that we could cover with you today. But the topic that we have selected is to talk about events, because hosting, Rockstar events is something that you know a thing or two about. Whether we're talking about an event for 5 people or 5,000, we have participated in, and many events that you have put on over the years. And so I'd love to, kind of break it down, because what's cool is, regardless of the industry that our listeners are in, hosting events really is kind of a universal benefit that can be done, even if it's a brick and mortar restaurant or a small business. Obviously, if you do a lot of things with education and real estate and communities, and so just let's kind of break that down a little bit. Are there some key what's going through your mind when you're thinking about, okay, I want to create a great event? What are some of those core elements that you're looking at so that you can ensure that everyone just has a phenomenal experience, that value is received, and that the customers come out at the back end saying, "This is awesome. I want to do this again"?
Well, the first thing you got to do, if you're going to host any kind of an event, is that you got to have an event that people actually want to attend. Now, I know that may sound like a simple statement, but if you really chew on that for a little bit, that's going to set the context for the entire event. That means that first and foremost, you got to prepare and pre-plan. And a lot of that planning has to be built around any kind of a theme or a message. You either have to have a topic, or you got to have a message, or you've got to have an amazing draw. Now, that draw could be a band, that draw could be a speaker, a trainer, that draw could be something extraordinary, the new release of something. But you've got to have a topic, a message, or a draw to be able to get people to actually want to attend. And then you've got to be able to build around that an atmosphere that is inviting based on what your intended outcome is going to be.
Yeah, so it's very interesting that you bring up what is the intent, right? Because that really is what drives all of that behind the event, right? Is the intent is the purpose for creating the event in the first place.
Right. And if you haven't got that, I'm telling you right now, that's the reason why some events make it and some don't. But the other thing is all about exposure. You got to think about, how are you going to get the word out? How are you going to create exposure around this event? How are you going to build for it and promote it properly? Because if you're not doing it right, nobody's going to show up. There are so many amazing events that would have been a phenomenal success had they been promoted properly and been given the proper exposure. But all of that plays into it. And it just kind of depends on what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. Is it just going to be a small little in-home event? Is it going to be, a big Rockstar concert kind of event? What kind of a budget have you got for that? What are you going to be your marketing and advertising channels? Is it going to be just pretty much word of mouth, and you're going to do guerrilla marketing and distribute flyers and put out roadside signs and make things happen of that nature? All of that's got to go into what your intended outcome is going to be, what the resources are that you have available to you, and how you can make it a success.
Now, you talk about intended outcome. What are, because obviously as a business event, there's some type of financial goal at some point in that process. What would you say are some of the most common desired outcomes that folks would be looking for if they're going to say, I'm going to host an event? What are they looking to actually sell their product or service immediately there at the event? Or are there other kind of ways of looking at the event? Are you building rapport with your customers? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you what, here's the thing. Your message has to be congruent with your delivery. It has to be congruent with what people are going to experience when they come to the event. Otherwise, they're not going to be happy with you. And I'll give you a few examples from our own company, from Renatus, and what we do. We have all sorts of different events that are able to expose people to our education, our community, and the different things that we do. One event may be our property tours. We do property tours almost every weekend in different places all across the country. And a property tour is this. It is an event whereby individuals are able to come to one of our local investors' fix and flips, one of their real estate deals that they're in the middle of. And they walk them through the house, they show them what's going on, and they help them understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, what they're not doing it, why they chose not to do it, how they're going to exit out of the property, what their estimated gains and profits are going to be. It is a real hands-on experience whereby individuals are able to see firsthand that real estate is real, that it's happening in their own backyard, and that people are having success. Now, if that event was promoted as, hey, listen, we're just going to get together at this guy's house, man, for a few hors d'oeuvres and just to hang out and have a nice time, people showing up to an event like that would be going, this place is a construction zone, man. And where's the hors d'oeuvres? And I think they're actually over there on a sawhorse, and this is not exactly what I had intended, right?
Yeah.
We do cash flow nights where we play Cash Flow 101. It's a fantastic way where individuals can receive through gamification a clear understanding as to how they can get out of the rat race of life and business and get on the fast track to investing and building passive income. Those are experiential events. If we were going to say, hey, listen, you got to come to this cash flow night because we're going to sell the daylights out of you because we want you to buy all of our education and this is going to be an amazing experience and you really are going to want to come, nobody's going to show up because nobody wants an invitation of that nature, right?
Right.
So with a cash flow night, individuals are coming and they're coming to play the game. That's it. Coming to play the game, to experience some wonderful aha moments, and build a relationship with individuals in the community. It's not a sell-a-thon. It's not even a full-on sales presentation. It's just, hey, come play cash flow with us. We're real estate investors. How would you like to learn how to play this game in real life? So messaging is incredibly important. If you are saying that you're going to do something or that an event is going to unfold in a certain way, you got to make sure that it's congruent and you fulfill on that promise, whatever it might be.
And I really like that because kind of what you're saying is correctly managing expectations and not doing a bait and switch.
Yes.
Because I imagine I know I have gone to different events where I thought it was going to be one thing and I was promised one thing and I got there and it was, 5 minutes of what they promised and then 2 hours of something else. Mm-hmm. I was not happy.
No.
You feel, like it was a bait and switch.
I was not happy as well. Being open, being honest, being transparent with our our prospects and our customers is critically important. So whether you've got just a little small home-based business and you're inviting a few folks over to just test your wares and check out, your products or services, man, let people know what they're in for, right?
Yeah.
Build a message around that is going to be compelling and is going to promote the event. If, on the other hand, you've got the resources to go out there and just blow the doors off with a big event, then you can employ, all sorts of online marketing. You can build sales funnels into the event. You can do, some larger advertising budgets for, TV, radio, whatever might work for you. You can actually hire professional promotion and advertising companies to help you with your messaging. It all depends on the budget and the intended outcome, because the resources will determine just exactly how you're going to be able to do that.
Right.
Yeah, so you mentioned messaging, and messaging is a huge thing in any type of advertising, whether it's word of mouth advertising, whether it's referral based, whether it's even getting it online to a larger audience. And, if the messaging is not congruent with what the event is, they just are going to be left wondering what just happened. And, you want to make sure that if you feel like you have to, I guess, hold back and not tell them what the event is, maybe you ought to reconsider your strategy.
Yes, because you know what? Deceptive marketing and deceptive advertising never, ever pay off. As a matter of fact, what they do is they're counterproductive. They're not only wrong, ethically, but the challenge you've got is that you also are preparing people for something that they are not going to have a good experience with. So why waste their time and why waste your time?
Yeah. Consumers are smart. They are going they're going to figure it out. And so it's better just to have integrity and be clear from the get-go about what it is that you'll be offering, the value that's going to be there. And I think most people inherently understand if they're going to something that is free, there's probably, going to be some type of an offering saying, hey, if you'd like to learn more, hey, if you'd like to plug in, if you'd like to receive, the product or service or whatever, there will be an opportunity for you to take advantage of that. And I think most people understand that and they're cool with it as long as the value precedes the offer.
Yes.
Oh, no doubt. You want to talk about a powerful event that we've got coming up in our company? It's the Make Profits Again Summit. And the idea for the Make Profits Again Summit was completely designed around the idea that individuals have just gone through a pandemic. We're still dealing with the fallout of that worldwide event, right? An event that was not built for properly. Or I think there's a lot of unhappy people with the expectations around that kind of an event, a pandemic.
Yes.
Anyway, but we're dealing with a lot of businesses. There are some businesses that just crushed it through the pandemic. There are other businesses that failed miserably. There are others that are just limping along, and they're just struggling to survive and stay in business. So what I did is I went out to my network and I went out to 30 plus individuals. These are the top of the top, the best of the best, experts in their field. They have thriving businesses. They have overcome, they have adapted, they have learned. Everybody from Governor John Huntsman. Here was an individual who was the youngest ambassador to Singapore. He was also an ambassador for the United States to Russia, to China, a previous governor for the state of Utah. Friend of mine, great guy. Now he sits on the board of directors for Ford Motor Company and a number of others out there. He understands the world of business, politics, and international opportunities as well. And, brought him into the studio so we could say, listen, John, help me understand so that our listeners can gain some of your wisdom. What are you doing to make profits? What are you doing to help your companies ensure profitability? How are you creating success? And teach us of some of your words of wisdom when it comes to not only, playing on a domestic field, but internationally as well. I've got Dan Clark. Dan Clark was voted as one of the top 10 motivational speakers of all time. He is brilliant. Dan's coming into or I should say he was in the studio because we've already interviewed Dan. But Dan's interview was so pointed because it just kind of filled you with hope and an understanding of what you were truly capable of. it's nice to have that kind of wake-up call so that we can get out of our pity party and start moving forward to success. Sharon Lechter is a good friend of mine. I mean, I've known Sharon for years and years. She was the co-author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the CASHFLOW Quadrant, all the books that created what we call the Purple Storm, right? As a matter of fact, she was also one of the developers of CASHFLOW 101, that great game that we often play. Sharon's perspective on life and business, oh my goodness. I mean, you got to understand, this woman started out as a CPA. She's an incredibly intelligent individual. She understands the numbers. She understands the value of financial literacy, and she understands business. So when I asked her questions about what's going on in her business, what she's seeing in the marketplace, how individuals are adapting, what great ideas that people can implement right now today to drive profits and have success, she was full of wisdoms that she was able to share. I've got 30 plus individuals that are of that caliber that are going to be available in the summit. Now the summit is free. We're making it free to everyone who wants to attend and to glean those words of wisdom from each of our speakers. But a lot of times people will say, yeah, what's in it for you? It's really simple. Exposure for Renatus. That's what it is. We are creating massive amounts of value for individual. We're giving it away for free. All they've got to do is attend this 4-day event, and they're going to be able to just fill volumes with note-taking, right? And by the time they're done, we want them to have a positive outlook on our company, the education that we offer, and the great things that are going on, so that we can build a relationship with them over time. And as that relationship builds, there's probably going to be a number of those individuals who say, you know what? I want you guys to share with me what you've put together that may help me in my life and my business. That's an event that has required an enormous amount of time, effort, energy, money, and video resources to put together, and we're offering it for free, knowing that the goodwill will come back to us in future sales.
Yeah, and I love that. That's so powerful because you're putting all of the value first, right?
Right.
You're creating the event, the value is there, and I think that's maybe a principle sometimes that people tend to forget about, is that money follows value, and
yes.
Add value first.
Uh-huh.
You're putting together. You just mentioned a couple of the people. I know you got 3 dozen or so different speakers that are 6, 7, 8-figure income earners in their respective fields, and they are basically going to be sharing the secrets, as it were, of what they've been doing to not just survive but thrive throughout the last year. And personally, Levi and I, we're very excited. We're really looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean,
well, good, because I'm excited too.
Let's learn from the best, right?
Uh-huh.
If the day that you stop learning is the day that you stop growing and progressing. And so, we know we don't have all the answers, and we're looking forward to connecting with those people who have, more experience and more knowledge. And so we're grateful for this event that you've organized and put together, and we're really excited. Once again, guys, the link on that to be able to sign up to get more details, see the full roster of everyone who is going to be presenting, is championhustle.com/summit, and that will forward you to all the information so that you can get all the details and throw in your info to get signed up. One important thing, you mentioned how some of the folks they've been already been in studio. You've been able to record with them. One thing I want to make sure that we emphasize is, guys, it's just the day of, so it's May 19th through 22nd. The day, for example, the speakers that are going to be broadcast and speaking on the 19th, you've got 24 hours basically. You've got that day to be able to enjoy the content that they're putting out. So if you snooze, you lose. Obviously, you want to make sure that you don't miss out on that, and you kind of dial in and focus in on those folks who are going to be able to bring the most value to your business.
Yep, absolutely. You mentioned one thing earlier, Ryan, that I just smiled at because you said knowledge is power, and it absolutely can be. It was obviously an academic who, coined the phrase, knowledge is power. Let me tell you, it was a businessman and a professional, Dale Carnegie, who corrected that just a little bit. He says it's the application of knowledge that is power. And what we want to do is we want to, really empower individuals with an understanding, giving them ideas, giving them the knowledge, but then we really want to give them, the steps to follow so that they can go take action on these things to implement them in their business.
Yeah, that's so important that a lot of people get stuck in that learning and consumption mode and forget to go out and take action. So from this summit, you've spent tons of time putting together the knowledge. What are your recommendations of what they do with that knowledge?
Well, the first thing is, man, they got to make a plan. You know what? You've got to make a plan, and then you've got to be able to pretty much take that plan and put it into steps. So often individuals will go, okay, I've got an idea, I've got a vision, we've created a mission statement, we got a vision statement, we got a new direction, and then they forget about making the steps necessary to follow through with that so that they can start really driving success. And that's what I really want to impress upon people. It's the simple fact that there are a billion great ideas out there that are sitting in the minds of individuals never to be realized, or on great products or services that are on warehouse shelves that'll never see the light of day because they didn't have a good strat plan to put the whole thing together. So you got to figure it out. Figure out how in the world are you going to make the world aware of your company, your products, your services, whatever that might be. And you can start small and grow it big, which is what I've always done with my companies. I mean, heavens, I've bootstrapped every one of them. So there wasn't a need for me to go out there and, raise money and raise capital that might be at risk from other businesses. Not to say that, you might not want to do that. Some people do. I just have chose not to. So we bootstrapped our businesses. We started small. We started with very low overhead. And then as we grew, we were able to make the decisions for adjustment, which is what was necessary. I think sometimes people want to start with an idea that is too big. That's why I say, you can think big, but act small. Keep your steps successive and moving in the right direction and within your budget. Give you a story. I had a business partner years ago. I'll never forget, man. He was the king of Excel spreadsheets. And every single time he sat down at the computer to create an Excel spreadsheet, I mean, he was mapping out projections on what our sales were going to be, what our company was going to do, how it was going to grow, how it was going to thrive. And inside of 15 minutes at his computer in front of an Excel spreadsheet, we were going to be billionaires overnight, right? And what I had to do is I had to rein him in on a regular basis, saying, okay, but we're not yet. So let's not start spending like that. We're not start acting like that, because we'll drive ourselves into the poorhouse. Never, ever, ever make future decisions, or I should say present decisions. And let me rephrase that. Never, ever, ever make present decisions based off of futured income, futured revenue. I've always played it conservative, and it's worked well for me. I've built dozens of different businesses that have produced hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. I've been able to speak on 5 different continents all over the world in different countries to share my message. I've been able to hobnob with some of the most influential and amazing people on the planet in the world of business, finance, content development, personal development, and so forth. I love what we've created, but I did it, by playing it smart and making sure that I was following a proven plan that wasn't going to lead me into too much risk, but it was going to give me a higher probability of success. And that's what, you've really got to do. So don't make present plans based on future income. Instead, take a look at it and say, okay, what are our resources available today? What can we do with those resources today to help build a better future?
Amen. I love it.
Yeah,
and
I
I love how, kind of the underlying theme of what you were talking about is there really ought to be congruency, with live events. There's got to be congruency between what you offer at the event and what your offering is. Because Bob, you're the CEO and founder of Renatus, which is an educational company, has premier financial entrepreneurship and real estate investing education. So it only makes sense that your event encompasses educating the attendees, right? Where people are saying, hey, here's a ton of value, here's a ton of knowledge, and then take it, run with it. Don't just learn it, like you said, implement it, create a plan, and actually do something with it. And then, I mean, that's a perfect tie-in to, hey, would you like to learn more? Well, we've got a lot more. You're welcome to look at and see if it would be a value for you. So I think that's I really like that approach, because there's congruency. You're adding value first, and it's kind of like when you go to the store and you get the free sample.
Right.
That was good. What else can I get? And,
Yep.
and the best part is when it's quality information, which it is, it actually can empower you to create change, generate results, and produce a good ROI for you, whether it's in your mindset, in your relationships, in your financial situation, whatever it is. Applied correctly can give you a great return on your investment of time to learn it and learn from the best.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Bob, so much for
Bob.
joining us today. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come and chat with us, share a little bit kind of behind the curtain of as it were, of event planning, whether it's online or live. I know that you've done both at big scale and small scale as well. And so we're really looking forward to this upcoming event. Once again, the link for that, guys, for more information, championhustle.com/summit is where you can get more details and sign up. Absolutely free. And also, we wanted to let you guys know if you're interested in following Bob a little more, learning a little bit more about him, what he's got going on with his company. A great way to kind of connect with him online would be on Facebook at facebook.com/myrenatus. That's MYRENATUS. And so you can kind of see some of the fun things that he's got going on there with his company. And once again, Levi, I don't know if you have any final words of wisdom.
Yeah, just all of this has been around hosting an event based on value, right? So Bob, you talked about dropping tons of value, hoping or looking forward to future goodwill. And so that's huge in terms of running your business, leading with value, creating tons of content, building followers that want what you have to offer, and then going forward from there. And
Absolutely.
So we will drop the link to the Renatus Facebook page in the show notes of this episode. And for next week, come on back, because we're going to talk about how do you break down receiving offers as an investor.
Right on.
How to choose the best one. It may
right.
not be the one that you think. So we're going to share some tidbits on that next week. We look forward to seeing you then. Thanks, guys.
Have a great week, everybody.
See ya.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Champion Hustle podcast. For more great content and to join our online community, visit us at championhustle.com.